An IPD officer accused of sexual misconduct surrenders after days on the run. Hear his plea to police to bring him in safely. Then a community remembers the life of an officer who died in the line of duty, while the man accused of taking his life learns the sentence he's facing next.
Think first. Think fast. Think Central Indiana's #1 primetime newscast. Fox 59 News at 10.
A community comes together tonight to help a family forced to make the ultimate sacrifice. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Donaldson.
And I'm Cheryl Adams. First on Fox tonight, the man accused of killing Beech Grove police officer William Toney found out today he'll face the death penalty. Tonight, Toney's family found out the community is there to support them. Fox 59's Tracy Wells joins us from Franklin Central High School, where a charity basketball game raised money for the officer's family. Tracy?
Cheryl, it was such a heartwarming night tonight inside the gymnasium here at Franklin Central High School. It was tough to hold back the tears at times, actually. Hundreds of people came out here to show their love and support for the family of Beech Grove officer William Toney, who was killed in the line of duty just 1 month ago. Judging by the smiles and cheers of the hundreds of people who turned out tonight, you'd never know the pain that brought them to Franklin Central High School.
I hate the fact that the reason we're here, but I can't think of a better outcome than this. If it had to happen, this is, I think Bill would just absolutely love to be here and see this, and I know he is. In my heart, I know he's watching this and rooting on for the Beech Grove PD.
William Toney graduated from Franklin Central High School in 1986. Beech Grove officer Bill Toney was shot and killed in the line of duty just 1 month ago, leaving behind his wife and 2 children. Tonight, his alma mater and his community rallied behind his family, raising more than $2,000 for the William Toney Memorial Fund, all to help support his children.
This is one of the better things I've done for my senior year. It's one of the better things I've done in my life.
Dee Toney wiped tears when the school gave her the check at halftime of the benefit basketball game. In fact, many in the gymnasium teared up.
It's overwhelming. I just can't think. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. Every day, I'm just totally amazed. People just keep coming out and they want to do something. They can't do enough, and it's just restored my faith in mankind. It's overwhelming.
It was a very special night. Now, the family of William Toney, Dee Toney and her family wish to extend their deepest appreciation to everyone, as does the police chief and the police department, for everyone who's helped out and supported them through this terrible ordeal. And if you want to help out, Bob, there's another charity basketball game at Beech Grove High School on the 15th, so don't miss it.
Okay, Tracy, thank you. And as we mentioned, Benjamin Ritchie, the man accused of killing Officer Toney, now faces the death penalty. Marion County Prosecutor Scott Newman filed death penalty charges today against the 20-year-old suspect. Toney's wife and mother joined Newman as he signed the documents, but a gag order in the case prevents any of them from commenting today.
A Shelby County jail inmate accused of raping a female guard will remain behind bars tonight on a $1 million bond. Troy Terry made his initial appearance in court today. Terry faced several counts, including kidnapping, rape, and criminal deviant conduct. The 32-year-old was in jail on prior charges stemming from a stolen vehicle.
One of the things that he told his victim was, "You better make sure I never get out of jail," and we fully intend to accommodate him on that request.
The prosecutor is seeking the maximum sentence against Terry. Terry's expected back in court in January.
An Indianapolis police detective facing child pornography charges is free on bond tonight, but his troubles are far from over. Fox 59's Derek Wilkerson has reaction to Detective Scott Cooper's surrender after days on the run.
Not long ago, Scott Cooper appeared to be a model police officer. Today, the 5-year veteran has fallen from grace. He's accused of possessing child pornography, videos of young boys committing sex acts in his home.
All boys under the age of 18, several of them very young.
The things he's accused of is just not like Scott, you know. I mean, if you knew Scott, he helps out little kids. He was in the Big Brother program, coaches Little League football. And
Cooper's brother claims he's innocent. The family was relieved when he turned himself into police yesterday.
Who is this? Scott Cooper. Where are you at? I am at US 31 and County Line. I am not armed, but
after he was arrested, Scott Cooper told investigators he wouldn't make any comment until he had a lawyer. As of midday today, investigators say they hadn't heard Cooper's side of the story. One thing the IPD Sex Crimes Unit is looking at is Cooper's easy access to boys. For 2 years, he's been an assistant football coach at South Wayne Junior High School. Cooper also provides security for Wayne Township schools.
We've told parents or students if they had information or concerns to make sure they let somebody know.
So far, police aren't saying how Cooper knew the boys who ended up on the lewd videos that now provide the evidence against him. Derek Wilkerson, Fox 59 News.
IPD has suspended Scott Cooper indefinitely. His first court appearance is scheduled for next week. The suspect may be under arrest, but police are still asking for your help tonight in the murder and rape of an 11-year-old girl found 6 years ago. They want to know who lived in this house at 1701 South Union Road in 1994 when LaShawna Bates disappeared. The man who found LaShawna's body has confessed to the crime and is in jail tonight. Police think the former residents of the house can help them put the man behind bars. If you know anything, call IPD.
Certainly wasn't a treat that sent one Central Indiana boy to the hospital this Halloween. 9-year-old Casey Bowling was treated at Columbus Regional Hospital after swallowing a white powder he got while trick-or-treating. The powder was in a white vial. Police say he ingested it before his mother could inspect his candy. Now that powder has been sent off to be analyzed. The boy complained of stomach pains but suffered no serious injuries.
The limestone Ten Commandments monument that was supposed to go on the State House lawn is now outside the Lawrence County Courthouse. The monument was put in place this morning before the Indiana Civil Liberties could request an emergency restraining order. The ICLU sued Lawrence County in federal court Monday over the county commissioner's decision to install the monument. An ICLU attorney says he has planned to ask a federal judge today for an emergency restraining order to stop the installation.
With the election looming, you may think you know all the candidates and the issues on the ballot, but there's one you may not have heard about that would affect a body whose decisions impact every Hoosier, at least most of the time. Fox 59's Steve Rogie explains outside the state capitol tonight. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, in fact, you know, the Indiana State Supreme Court spends 2/3 of its time considering criminal appeals cases. Now, the justices are hoping that the voters will help them clear up their schedules through public question number 1 on next Tuesday's ballot. Basically, it's about making time available to consider cases that affect more people.
It's the cases that aren't the blockbuster cases, but do in fact affect a lot of people because their job is at risk, or they've been in an accident, or in an insurance dispute of some kind.
Public question 1 on Tuesday's ballot is the rare case when judges ask voters to change the law. It asks voters if criminal cases with 50-year sentences should go through the State Court of Appeals. A yes vote would eliminate more than 100 criminal cases annually from the Supreme Court docket.
Yes, the Court of Appeals is able to handle this. At some point we may be looking for some help, but we're able to handle this now.
It allows the Supreme Court to address issues of broad concern, issues of child support, for example, issues involving landlord-tenant, just a broad range of things that may come before the Supreme Court.
Question 1 faces little to no opposition, but judges fear it might not pass if voters aren't paying attention.
It's not something that people wake up in the morning talking about, the internal workings of the Supreme and appellate courts.
It may not get a lot of press, but public question number 1 does mean a lot to Hoosiers who will or won't be subject to a decision made in this room.
Those are the ones that where people need to get faster answers. They need to get the clearest answers we're capable of giving them, and we can't do that now.
If you would like to understand public question number 1 more fully, call the number on your screen, 317-232-2550. It's also available on the internet at ai.org/judiciary. And Bob, we are also told that the Indiana Trial Lawyers Association represented the only possible opposition to this, and it has given question number 1 its endorsement.
All right, Steve, thank you very much for that report from the State House tonight.
Federal authorities are investigating whether yesterday's power outage at the Indianapolis Air Traffic Control Center almost had tragic consequences. The center at the Indianapolis International Airport handles high-altitude traffic for Indiana and 6 other states. The power outage left the center without radar for about 2 hours yesterday afternoon. Now investigators are looking into a report that 2 planes came too close to each other during that time. An FAA spokeswoman didn't know when the possible near miss was reported or exactly where it may have occurred.
Investigators say he was smoking in bed. Tonight, an elderly man is alive only after a life-saving rescue. 78-year-old Marvin Bruns suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns when his apartment burned. He's listed in critical condition tonight. Firefighters rescued him by taking his unconscious body through a window.
I come out of the kitchen, like a little kitchenette, and I just kind of looked up and seen the chair of the wheel of the wheelchair, and then kind of looked up over it, and then you can see him slumped over in the chair.
Smoke forced the evacuation of nearly a dozen more elderly tenants of the residential building. Damage is estimated at more than $10,000.
Emergency crews from a local hospital is getting national attention. Wishart Health Services will be featured in an episode of The Paramedics tomorrow night on the Learning Channel. The show highlights the work of emergency personnel and followed the Wishart EMS crew on the job. Today, hospital staff gathered for a sneak preview of the program, which they hope will show the teamwork involved in saving lives.
So it's always good to educate the public on what our job is and kind of stress some of the safety points and things that we need to keep people, calm in situations. So I think it's a good program.
The Paramedics program airs tomorrow night on the Learning Channel.
Well, the calendar changed, but our weather sure hasn't. It's still beautiful out there. Let's check in with Brian at the Weather Center to get that first forecast. What do you think, Brian?
Bob, unbelievable. This is November the 1st, and temperatures today soared into the upper 70s in parts of the state. People are complaining, saying that they want some cold weather so they can break out the fall wardrobe. Hey, be careful what you wish for. There is some colder air on the way, but not before another warm one. We'll talk about how warm it will be tomorrow and the prospects of some rain and, of course, the cooler air that's on the way, all coming up in weather. Cheryl, Bob?
I don't think anybody over here wants cool weather, do we?
Not me.
No.
Well, also ahead on Fox 59 News, a birthday party. Find out what national landmark is turning 200 years old and who desperately wants to live there.
And a consumer alert for you tonight. Learn why the federal government says your horizontal blinds could be unsafe.
And the Circle City's alive with music. We take you to the Mirage to hear Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hundreds of relatives arrived at the Taiwan airport today to learn the fate of their loved ones aboard that crashed Singapore Airlines 747.
The investigation into the doomed flight tops our look around the world in 59 seconds.
Singapore Airlines is defending its pilot's decision to take off during stormy conditions yesterday. Survivors of the crash say they felt the plane hit something bumpy before it burst into flames on the runway. 79 people died, at least 23 of them Americans.
Authorities in Utah say a 2-year-old boy who was lost in the woods died of hypothermia. The baby's father left the infant sleeping in his truck Thursday while he went hunting.
Wildfires are blazing out of control in southwestern Kentucky. 3,000 acres have been destroyed. Firefighters believe many of the fires were intentionally set.
The federal government recalled 500 million window blinds today. Cords on the horizontal blinds have been linked to over 100 child deaths. For more information, you can call 1-800-506-4636.
And the White House celebrated its 200th birthday today as presidential candidates Al Gore and George W. Bush campaigned for votes. The latest poll by Pew Research gives Bush a slight edge over Gore. And that's a look around the world in 59 seconds.
We're just celebrating this warm weather in November.
Yeah, that's amazing. We've had a heck of a streak going. We've been warm and we've been dry, and that's about to change. Some rain is on the way, and we'll talk about some colder air. It's a mild one out there tonight, but the changes are coming. We'll tell you when, coming up next.
Protect yourself against internet investment scams tomorrow morning on Fox 59 AM. See Butler on North Keystone, Palmer on West 38th, or Indy Hyundai on Highway 31 South.
Stay tuned. Brian Wilkes and your Fox 59 forecast is next.
Welcome back, everyone. I don't think you're going to find too many complaints when we have mild temperatures like this at the beginning of November. We're saving on the heating bill, that's for certain, and temperatures have heated up very nicely this afternoon and have not fallen off very much tonight. Still very mild and 60 degrees at the airport under clear skies. The camera bouncing around as we look live towards the Arts Garden downtown because the winds have picked up a little bit out of the southeast at 13 miles per hour. Still a pretty dry air mass, so the clouds that have been moving in with some rainfall out west have been falling apart, but that is going to change. The temperature today officially 70 degrees at the airport, way above normal as we start the month of November. Keep in mind the average temperature for this time of the year, high temperature, is only 59 degrees. And we're still above that across the board in central Indiana at 10 p.m. 60 in Shelbyville, 60 in Muncie, and 65 degrees right now in Lafayette. A few high clouds have begun to spill in from the west, but that was not going to deter these temperatures from warming up this afternoon. Look at the 77 in Lafayette, 77 in Terre Haute, and low 80s across central Illinois this afternoon. We're going to stay in this mild air at least one more day as a huge storm begins to really wind up. Look at the storm system wrapping up. The winds blow southeast across the state tonight, and they all funnel into this powerhouse storm in the upper Midwest. Ahead of the storm, we are there in front of the storm system with warm air coming northward. Look at the cold air digging southward. Plenty of chilly air across the western United States. The jet stream is responsible for all this. Look at the way it dips across the western U.S., then roars back to the north, a powerful jet stream, and that's what helps push storms across the country. Watch the curl in the clouds right here begin to lift quickly to the northeast. It jumps onto that jet stream, and you can see the blow-up of showers and thunderstorms as the storm goes heading towards southern Canada. Here are the storms that produced tornadoes last night. The bulk of the energy right now is right here in North Dakota. That's where the brunt of the rain and snow that has been coming down with the system. We do have a long line of showers and a few thunder showers stretching from northern Wisconsin all the way back into Texas, but it's a broken, narrow line of storms, and this will be the one that will affect us by tomorrow night. The air mass to the east of the storm system is pretty dry, so these will break up and then fire up again tomorrow night. All the energy is right here, back to the northwest, where it's been blizzard conditions in eastern Montana, portions of northeastern Wyoming. The main storm system will continue to lift up to the north and east, so that's going to take most of the energy with the storm system. As this front nears tomorrow afternoon, those clouds will begin to thicken up, and we expect to see a broken line of scattered showers and maybe even a thunder shower move into central Indiana by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. It's not going to be a major rain affair. We could use some rainfall. In the last 15 days, we've only had 3/100ths of an inch of rain reported. We should see some scattered showers. Again, the operative word here, scattered, and maybe a thunder shower Thursday night. Then cooler air begins to rush in time for the weekend, and we're going to change the pattern. We're going to be looking at cooler than normal air going into next week. The brunt of the rainfall will be back to our west with 1/4 to 1/2 inch amounts, and again, near the center of low pressure is where you're going to see some more snowfall and some heavier rainfall totals. So there is some in the picture, but not a lot, as we look at fair skies and then increasing clouds later tonight. Very mild for this time of the year, down to 53 degrees. Tomorrow, with enough sunshine, before the clouds begin to thicken and lower, we look for 74 degrees. Again, a chance for scattered showers, maybe even a thunder shower in spots. 74 tomorrow, but Cheryl and Bob, here come the changes. The cooler air hits for Friday and Saturday. A breezy, cool day Saturday with a high of only 56 degrees. Sunday, sunshine, 58, but it turns wet to begin next week. Election day could be a wet one with temperatures in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, and then another big push of cool air. This is the one we talked about last night. How about highs only in the upper 40s? Again, keep in mind we've been running so far above normal. Seasonable temperatures will feel pretty chilly.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you, Brian. Well, the Colts should save some money on their travel bill this week. Sunday's road game is just up the road in Chicago. Eric Ritchie shows us how the Colts are working to bring some bad news to the Bears. That's next in sports.
Hi again, everyone. The Colts made a roster move today, waiving return man Peyton Williams and signing Clifton Crosby. Crosby spent most of last season on the St. Louis Rams practice squad. As for the Colts, they went to work today preparing for a Sunday showdown with the 1-7 Bears. That game at Soldier Field.
It's a lot of mystique there at Soldier Field. I enjoy playing there because of the history that they have there. Some of the great players that they have had there in the past. I'm looking forward to it. I got some people from Bradley that'll be at the game, and the fiancé is coming, so it'll be exciting for me just to go back there and play an actual game after so much history taking place there.
It's going to be up to us, once again, just to, go on the road and play hard on the road. And just doesn't matter
where we play or who we play. It just matters how we play.
Meanwhile, ex-Colt Marshall Faulk says he will wait until after the season is over before having knee surgery, despite suffering from loose cartilage, torn scar tissue, and a bone bruise on his right knee. Faulk still is leading the NFL in total yards with 1,326. Faulk said today the only thing that could stop him is if the piece of cartilage that came loose in his knee became lodged someplace that affects his mobility. Basketball, the Pacers are off tonight following their season-opening loss at San Antonio. They're back in action tomorrow night at Dallas before returning for their home opener against the Bulls on Saturday night. NBA action tonight, Miami Heat coach Pat Riley going for a career win 1,000. Heat hosting Orlando, a tribute before the game with Alonzo Mourning, who is sitting out the season with problems with his kidney. On the floor, his buddies had his back. In particular, Tim Hardaway drills the three here. It set the tone. Later, once again, it's three the Hardaway. Heat led by 20. They've cruised throughout this game, but I can't leave these highlights without showing you this move from Tracy McGrady. Watch the youngster from, look at this, used to be Toronto, now he's in Orlando, and he's just jamming over people. That last check, Miami leading Orlando. The score was 87-60 early in the fourth quarter. Elsewhere in the NBA, Sacramento at Cleveland, the Kings in transition. Bobby Jackson leaves it for C. Webb, and Chris Webber throws it down with the left hand. This game currently tied in double overtime. In Philadelphia, Sixers hosting Toronto. Mark Jackson, 16 points, 12 assists, but gets picked here by Eric Snow. Then it was Allen Iverson taking care of the rest. Sweet layup. Toronto now 0-2. Sixers win 104-98. A lot of Major League Baseball news to talk about tonight, and it all has to do with managers. First, the AP Manager of the Year. Chicago White Sox manager Jerry Manuel wins the honor after leading his team to the AL Central Division title. In just his third season as manager of the Sox, he led Chicago to 95 wins and their first playoff appearance since '93. Manuel received 27 votes. San Francisco's Dusty Baker finished second with 23. Real quickly, Larry Boa is named the manager for the Philadelphia Phillies. Also, Jim Tracy named the manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I want to tell you this, members of the Blue Crew, you know, the fan club for the Colts, sure, they were supposed to meet one place. They've switched it. So if you're going to that Chicago Bears game, and if you haven't heard about the switch, contact Tony Payne. He's the vice president, 319-1566. There's going to be about 150 of these guys going up to Soldier Field. They're going to root on the Colts.
Oh, and they need to find out exactly where to meet.
Where to meet to go to the game. And then they're going to come here for 59 overtime and be a part of our live.
Busy day.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, they're going to be rowdy.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Eric.
All right.
Thank you, Eric. And Brian has your wake-up weather. It won't be rowdy, but he'll have your wake-up weather in a moment.
That will be great.
Arrest and Trial, Star Trek Next Generation, then Street Smarts tonight following the news.
Another more warm morning like that. It's
say that
easier
10
said
times
than
fast.
done.
More warm weather.
Yeah, very mild tomorrow morning, no doubt about it. 53 degrees. Enjoy it. Another warm one coming, some rain later in the day, and then much cooler air as we hit the weekend and into next week.
Okay.
Warm morning, warm morning, warm morning.
Well, that is all for this edition of Fox 59 News. Tune in tomorrow morning, a warm morning, for Fox 59 AM for Nuvo's Best of Indie Readers' Choice Awards.
It's Eric's turn to start saying it now. There we go.
Mild words, too.
We leave you quickly tonight with sounds from Hootie and the Blowfish at the Mirage. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
So